cannot attract the life you want until you show up as someone that can actually get it. I want you to understand the life that you are living now, whether you love it or you hate it, you attracted it. From the car that you drive, to the money in your bank account, to the place that you work, you've attracted all of it. Whether you physically did it, meaning you actually went out and applied for the job, or you mentally did it, where you put yourself in a situation where you're like, oh, I can't start that business because I come from a certain household, or I can't start that thing because I don't have enough resources to do it. Whether you realize it or not, you have attracted the life that you live now, and you will not be able to change your life, attract a new life, until you show up as the person that can receive those things. And a lot of times this comes from a lack of confidence, whether it's a lack of individualism or a lack of action. When it comes to individualism, it usually means those individuals that live in the same neighborhood their entire life, who work jobs very similar to the people that they grew up with or their parents, make the same amount of money, have the same income. Or it can be something such as everybody that they went to school with, they work a similar job to them, they go to the similar restaurants. They lack individualism. See, they want a different life for themselves, but they just don't really feel like it's right because everyone else is doing something else. And then there's also those individuals who lack action confidence, which means they have a sense of individualism. They know they want different. They know they want to be different, but they just can't seem to do the thing. They just can't seem to start the business. They just can't seem to go after the job. It's something in them that is stopping them from actually taking action, though they do know that they want different for their life. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to essentially attract the life that you want from gaining confidence. Now, the root of this probably has to do with something in your childhood and things of that sort. But actually, not going back too far, the root of it now is because you do not have a good relationship with yourself. And I know to some people, they're like, how do I not have a good relationship with myself? I know my favorite food. I know my favorite color. I know. You do not trust yourself. That's simply what I'm saying. Because if you think about a relationship, it comes with a certain level of trust. And the reason why oftentimes not a lot of people don't realize that they don't trust themselves is because we assume because we are ourselves, we must have a relationship with ourselves. But you don't. You allow other individuals to make you understand who you are. Your identity is not made up by you if you do not have confidence. It's made up by who individuals tell you that you are and what you see around you. And so you start to limit yourself. You put yourself inside of a box simply because you do not have a good relationship with yourself. And oftentimes we rationalize things and make it make sense based upon our relationship with other people. An example of this can be something like, let's say you come from a low-class neighborhood, right? Or you come from a neighborhood that, you know, didn't have too much money, you struggled a bit growing up, and your parents are like, listen, you have to go to college. The reason why we didn't, you know, become successful, the reason why we couldn't give you the life that we wanted to give you is because we didn't go to college. You have to go to college to make it out. Now, you don't really want to go to college. You thought about going to trade school, or you even thought about starting a business, just doing something different. But what do? You go to college and you rationalize it with saying, well, my parents are right. I should go to college so I can build a better future for me and my kids. And you start making all these crazy, outlandish connections simply because you do not have a good relationship with yourself. It's not saying that what your parents are saying is not true. For them, their life, yes, that is true. But since you don't have a good relationship with yourself, you're not strong enough to really stick up for yourself. And so it's easy for you to convince yourself, you know what, they're right. You know what, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do that. You will send your friend a whole 10 picture thread of all the pictures you should post. You already have your favorite one in mind, but when all your friends pick almost every picture except the favorite one that you had, you don't even post your favorite picture. The picture is of you, and you don't even post your favorite picture because you trust in their opinion more. You trust in the relationship that you have with them more. And the scariest part about this is that we can't trust in what they say. And it actually has something to do with the brain. Now, it's something called schema inside of our brain, and it's basically how your brain processes things, how your brain essentially makes sense of things, and how it groups things together is through your schema. So the way the schema works is as soon as we look at something, our first thought is usually from prior experiences. It's a whole bunch of information being put together in sequential order to tell us this is what this thing is. An easy example of that is a bed. When you look at a bed, the first thing you think about is sleeping, laying down, but it's because of your prior experience of a bed. An analogy of this that makes it honestly so scary is thinking about how other people's schema can affect us and how we listen too much to other people. Think about this. You and 3 of your friends are in line, right? There's a lady behind y'all that goes, one of your friends says, she got a problem? What's her problem? She breathing hard, like she got a problem with, what's her problem? The other friend says, no, she probably has a breathing problem. Like my grandma has COPD and asthma growing up and she used to breathe like that too. Like she probably has a breathing problem. And another friend is like, no, should we let her go in front of us? She's probably having a long day. It sounds like she's pretty stressed out. I think we should let her go in front of us. Who's the 4th person? You. Now, they all perceive that thing, but when you were looking out of the corner of your eye, you saw the lady's daughter behind her actually was on TikTok. And that was the TikTok video. It wasn't even the girl breathing like that. I mean, the woman, it was her daughter. But your 3 friends are asking you, so which one of us you believe? I'm right, right? I'm right, right? Until the end of time, they're all going to think that they are right. Why? Based upon their schema, based upon their prior experiences. And technically, they are right to them. There's one girl who grew up in a neighborhood, and in her neighborhood, when girls breathe like that or look too hard, that meant they want to fight. That other girl, she said that she grew up in a household where someone had breathing problems, so she's used to that. And the other girl kind of sounds like she's a people pleaser. So it sounds like she's used to just, when people are having any kind of problem, just doing whatever they want. The problem is, all of them will fight until sundown to sun up that they're right. And to them, they are right. Now, when it comes to you, when they ask you, so what is it? A lot of people think they'll say, oh, no, it wasn't even her, it was her daughter on her phone. But most people won't, because most people don't have the confidence. So what do people do? Either they'll pick the person that they've had the strongest relationship with, they know them the longest, they know the most, because they're like, you know what, that person is going really hard about this thing. They must really believe this thing, so that must be true. Or there's also those individuals who are kind of like, I don't really, know, I mean, it could be all of y'all. It could be, they're trying not to make anyone the specific winner, but like they're, still trying to go along with it. But the root of all of that is all you're doing in your mind is trying to match their schema. You're literally trying to convince yourself, and some people do. Then you start saying, maybe she wasn't watching the TikTok video. Actually, I don't even know if that was a TikTok video. I don't even know if she was even on the phone. Maybe she was just scrolling, maybe. But in the beginning, before anyone said anything, that's what you saw. And that is what happened for you. But the problem is, since somebody's going so hard about something, you assume they must be right. And since you don't have a relationship with yourself, you don't trust yourself enough. You never tell them what you saw, because you're like, well, they're probably not going to believe me. Well, they're probably going to say this. They're probably going to say that. And that seems like a very small analogy, but it goes back to the analogy that I said of your parents telling you to go to school for something and you don't want to do it. The problem is, people are telling you things based upon their prior experience. They're telling you things based upon what they went through, i.e. their schema, their perception of the world, their perception of reality. And of course, they're going to go hard. Of course, they're not going to understand where you're coming from. Of course, they're not going to see what you're trying to say. But the problem is, when you don't have confidence, you usually waste a lot of time trying to explain yourself to these individuals. Oh no, this is this and that's that. Or you often overly explain yourself into talking yourself out of doing things. And I always say that's the scariest part about not having a good relationship with yourself, is because you rely on your identity based upon what people tell you that you are, how you should dress, how you should look, how much money you should make, what kind of car you should drive, in perspective of their life. But their life is based on their schema. And also trying to get somebody out of believing something, that's basically like trying to say you're trying to change their entire upbringing. It's not going to work. And so that's why I always say it's so important to have a relationship with yourself, so you can always be that girl that's like, no, it was a TikTok video. No, she was on the phone. No matter what anybody says, you never want to be the girl that starts overthinking and then thinking yourself out of things. You know what you saw. You know what you want to do with your life. You know how you want to be. Stop letting people convince you because they're going hard, because you knew them for a long time, because you have a good relationship with them, because they're older, because they have more money than you. All these other things that you think to be more than you, to lower you on a pedestal, to make you feel like, oh, I should listen to them. And that's why you're living a life that you truly don't enjoy, because you're living a life based on other people's schema. Now, to build confidence, going off what I said before, you have to build a relationship with yourself. You have to build the trust with yourself. And one of the things I recommend to do is start doing things that nobody knows and that you do not tell them. This could be things such as hobbies, of course, but it also is doing things simply for you, and by yourself. No one else, whether it's them there physically, whether it's them on the phone, by yourself. Now, I'm not telling you to start crocheting and every time your friends come over, hide the crochets in the closet. No, but what I'm telling you is stop posting every time you want to start a new hobby. Stop inviting your friends over. Stop even telling your friends that you're starting something. Because a lot of times too, that gets us stuck in something, i.e. not having real confidence, not living the life we want to live, because you tried crocheting and then you really didn't like it. So then you're like, okay, maybe I should try puzzles, but then you didn't really like it. But then you're like, you know what, maybe I'm an outside person. Maybe I should try tennis. And so every single time you try something, you tell your friends. And then what do your friends start saying? Girl, you do too much. You always trying to find something new. You always trying to be different. And you don't want that feeling of being different. So what do? You either stick to something or you don't start something new at all. And so one thing I recommend you to do, stop oversharing. Stop telling people simply because you need to build a relationship with yourself. You don't need your relationship with yourself to be based upon what other people agree with, based upon what other people like. You want to crochet, you invited your friend over. She was like, yeah, I don't think I like crocheting. I think I like knitting better. Now you saying, you know what, we can knit. Why? It's nothing wrong with knitting, but if you want to crochet, stop living a life where you are a knitter. And like I said, these are very small analogies, but just think about this on a grand scheme of things. When is the last time you did something by yourself? Like without being on the phone, without talking to someone? When is the last time you went hours on end by yourself intentionally? And that's another thing I want you to do. You have to be intentional about when you're doing things to build a relationship with yourself. The same way you're intentional about talking to your friends on the phone. You're intentional about going out with your friends. Be intentional by yourself. And I think one of the things that, another reason why a lot of people don't have confidence within themselves, they don't have a relationship with themselves, is because you truly don't know if you like yourself. Because contrary to just being on the phone with someone, when is the last time you did something in complete silence? A lot of people don't understand how scary silence is to a lot of people. And don't get me wrong, on my channel, I do recommend things such as, if you're trying to start going to the gym, maybe you should put on your favorite episode or your favorite podcast. If you're trying to start, something new, put on some music to help you. Yes. But I also don't want a lot of people to become dependent on those things because you already are. Like, you don't understand how scary it is for you to sit within your thoughts. You truly don't even know if you like you. Like, it sounds crazy, but like, do you know if you truly like you? No, because when's the last time you spent time with yourself just asking yourself questions? See, you wait for other people to start doing things and figuring out yourself. You found out you didn't like chocolate ice cream because you went out with your friends and y'all tried chocolate ice cream and you didn't like it. Like, when is the last time that you really did something for you to figure out if you like it or not? And also, when is the last time you really just talked to yourself? Like, it sounds crazy, but I think for a lot of people that's scary. Because you don't know what you're gonna say back. Because you know that you might start saying things and then what's gonna happen? You're going to have to act upon them. And that's the scariest thing that can happen to us. It's one thing to have these thoughts and talk to our friends. Oh girl, I wanna make more money. Oh girl, I wanna do this. But when you really sit with yourself and you really have to tell yourself, I'm hurting. I'm in pain. I'm living a life that I don't want to live. I'm unhappy. That's when it gets real. It's easy to say it to your friends and then y'all all come kumbaya together. Oh yeah, I'm struggling with my rent too. Oh yeah, my car payments is high too. When you really are sitting there with yourself, you're really looking inward. Are you really just going to turn your back on yourself? You can't even answer that question because you haven't had a relationship with yourself. You don't even talk to yourself. So that's one thing I recommend you do. Start doing hobbies and things that are for you, by you, and start talking to yourself in quiet moments while you're doing things. Of course, you could be at the gym, it doesn't mean that you can't be around people sometimes, but just like you don't need the extraness to be added. Also, confidence is being able to focus on the task at hand. I think a lot of people don't realize the reason why you don't have confidence is because you cannot focus on what's actually going on, and that actually shows you the lack of confidence that you have. A great example of this is you trying out a new hairstyle, right? You're supposed to be going out to lunch with your friends. The entire time, all you are thinking about is, oh my gosh, are they gonna say something about my hairstyle? Oh my gosh, are people gonna like this? Oh my gosh. What was the task at hand? to get something to eat. You're not even focusing on the task at hand. It shows you do not have confidence. The reason why you left your house today was to get something to eat. It just so happened that you changed your hair, but because you don't have confidence in yourself, you're so focused on other things. Same thing going out with a date. You're supposed to be getting to know this guy and getting to talk to him for the first time, and all you're thinking of, is he gonna like me? Is he really gonna, want to date me again? Am I gonna say the wrong thing? And then usually that's when you say the wrong thing. You talk too much, you talk too little, and you afterward like, why did I say that? Because you weren't focusing on the task at hand. You were not focusing on getting to know him. You were focusing on, does he like you? You were focusing on, what is he gonna say about you when you leave? And so I think that's another way to be able to detect your confidence. Ask yourself, what is your ability to focus on the task at hand? You're going to the gym. You're so worried about what people are going to say about you, and are you doing this workout wrong, and that means you have low confidence, because you can't, what is the task at hand? To get the workout down, but you're so focused on what people are going to say about you. And I think that's one way I've kind of tried to tell people to detect your level of confidence when it comes to doing things. Detect how long you can stay focused, or your ability, honestly, to stay focused on the task at hand, and then start building up the muscle with that. I also want you to understand, confidence is not about what happens to us, it's about how we deal with it. And I think a lot of times too, you can tell your lack of confidence depending on how you deal with situations. And I think a lot of people don't realize it's so easy to be confident in a confident situation. It's so easy to be confident once you graduate. It's so easy to be confident when you make $1 million. But a lot of times you can't get to that place because when you're not in the best situation, you are not confident. And your confidence is shown how you deal with things. An analogy can be something such as, there's two individuals. One of them just lost their job last week, and the other one is a CEO of $1 million company. One of them wakes up at 6 a.m. every single morning. She eats a healthy breakfast. She works out 4 to 5 times a week, and she reads 15 pages of a self-help book every single day. Most people are going to assume, who is that? The CEO or the person who lost their job? It's the person that lost their job. The problem is, the reason why we assume it will be the person that's the CEO is because a lot of people are gonna say, oh, she just lost her job. She must be really down. How does she's not gonna wanna stick to a schedule. She's probably gonna wanna go out for drinks. She's probably gonna wanna, why? Because whether she has a job or she lost a job, she still has to keep up with her body. You're gonna stop going to the gym because you're not making that much money. You're going to stop eating healthy simply because you lost your job. See, that's the problem that a lot of people have. You base your confidence as far as doing things, and a lot of times even starting things, based upon where you are now. No, keep up the schedule. Start that thing, because one day she is gonna get another job. And then what is she gonna do? Oh yeah, I had to stop for 3 to 4 weeks until I got another job. But now that I got another job, let's get back into it. No, that shows she's not confident in that thing. She needs a crutch. She needs something else to hold up her confidence. That's not how you want to be. See, a lot of people will convince you that they're not in the right position that they need to be in to do certain things. I'm not in the right position to go to the gym. I don't make enough money. Planet Fitness is like $10 a month. Look at the ice cream inside of your freezer. You spend more than $10 a month on ice cream. I'm just saying. Like, we convince ourselves, oh, I can't eat healthy. Did you look at your bank account? Did you see how much you spent on a bar last week? Oh, okay. I just want to say, yeah, you bought like 3 or 4 shots. $12 a pop. Like, a lot of times we convince ourselves we can't do something because we're not in the right situation. And a lot of times that's just holding us back. Confidence is not about what we're going through. We assume we can only be confident through good situations. No, confidence is how you deal with things. That shows if you're a confident person or not. And I want a lot of people to understand that, like, don't allow what you're going through to be a reflection of the life that you're living and the things that you're doing. Yes, sometimes you may have to demote things. Yes, you may have to change things up. Maybe you got to switch the gym. Maybe you got to stop going from this grocery store to that grocery store. That's okay, but at the same time, don't demote your life to a life that you don't want to live simply because you're not in the best situation. And you have to intentionally do things that would get you out of your comfort zone. So back to what I said before when I was speaking about doing things by yourself, for yourself, that is good as well, but also doing things that get you out of your comfort zone, I think is very important for confidence, because I always say confidence is like a muscle. It's not something that you are going to just get one day and then you're going to keep forever. No, once you get your dream body, you have to keep going to the gym to maintain your dream body. So you need to start doing things that are uncomfortable for you. Are you uncomfortable going on solo dates? Maybe you need to start going on solo dates. Are you uncomfortable starting new things and being the person that knows the least amount in the room? Maybe you need to start doing that. I think one of the things that holds a lot of people back is that they don't understand you do not have to be confident to start. Like, I think there's this perception that people have about confident people that it's like, oh my gosh, when they start something, they're confident. And when they do get into something, they know all this stuff they know. No, a confident person actually knows that they don't know anything. And that honestly is what gives them the confidence, the ability to learn more, the ability to do more. And so I want you to understand, you do not have to be confident to start anything, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's starting that course, whether it's starting that business. You do not have to be confident to start it. No one is confident when they start. Like, no matter what people may say, no matter the vibe they may give off, nobody is confident when they start. So don't use that as a crutch to hold you back. You gain confidence as you continuously keep doing things. And that's with everything in life. Like, one time in life, 5th grade was very scary for you. We don't remember it, but 5th grade was so scary. And then you got to 7th grade and then you hear the 5th graders complain and you're like, oh, that's so easy. That's life. Like, a lot of times you're looking at the 5th graders and you're in 1st grade, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's, I said, starting that business, you're looking at the 5th graders. You're looking at the people who've been doing it. You're looking at the people who go to the gym 4 to 5 times a week, eat 130 grams of protein a day and all this other stuff. And you're like, I can never do that. No, you just can't do it right now. But if you give yourself these unrealistic expectations, of course you're not going to start it, because you keep convincing yourself that you have to be perfect to start, and no one is perfect when they start. And I have to, of course, talk about how you look is how you feel. And a lot of times it's also how people treat you. But the scariest thing about that is we start to morph, like I said in the beginning, if we don't have a good relationship with ourselves based upon how people treated us. But this started when we were younger. So if you were that girl growing up who maybe her parents didn't have as much money as the other kids, or maybe she looked different from the other kids, you were placed in this category of being different. So then what did? You became the different girl. You became the girl growing up sometimes that didn't care about her appearance. She didn't care about her hair. She didn't care about what she was wearing, simply because since she was a child, she was treated as an individual that shouldn't care about those things. See, when it comes to the pretty girls, when it comes to the girls that look a certain way and their bodies are a certain way, there's just this subconscious lifestyle we give to them, kind of like the clean girl aesthetic. Like, if you think about it, the clean girl aesthetic, if you search it up, they're just a whole bunch of pretty girls, but they just assume pretty girls are clean. There's no correlation between the two. And so the scariest thing about that is, like I said, we start basing our identities based upon what people say about us and what people think about us. So to help you, you also need to start keeping up with yourself. And I've noticed that definitely has helped me with my confidence and just becoming an overall confident person, because I keep myself up. And so one, it definitely, people do treat me differently, which I'm gonna be honest about. But then at the same time, it shows me I care about myself enough to do these things that I don't have to do. Like, you don't have to get your hair done. You don't have to get your nails done. You don't have to do these things. And yes, there are benefits that come with them, but I think it's kind of like just watering the plant. Like, you're taking care of yourself and you're showing yourself, I care about you. And especially when you do things that are things that other people won't notice. Like, it's great having the hair, the outfits, all the other stuff, but I'm also talking about the scrubs. I'm also talking about the lotion. Like, don't be that girl who only lotions parts of her body that people are gonna see. Your entire body deserves it. Don't be that girl that only does stuff based upon what she think other people are gonna see, because a lot of times that's not confidence as well. It's an exterior confidence, which can easily be broken down based upon what people say about you or they think about you. But I had to notice that too. Like, it sounds so superficial to some people, and it sounds so, of course she would say confidence is the looks. I look this way, I look that way, I can't have confidence. But it's really how you keep yourself up. Like, don't get me wrong, I know in this economy it can be a lot, but also doing things that can be a little bit more budgeting, right? Okay, maybe you can't get your nails done. Maybe you're gonna do the press on nails. Y'all, I've been wearing the same U-part wig for the longest. I don't know if y'all could tell, I gotta fix it a bit, but I put a little bit of color in here. Hair store tracks, yeah, of color, just to give it a little bit of a, I don't know if y'all can see it. I gotta put some more probably. But just to give it a little bit of a flair, a little bit of a difference. I cut it a little bit, probably gonna cut it a little bit shorter, put some layers in it. Like, the whole idea behind it is that I just want to up my look, but you don't always have to up the price to up the look. And so that's one of the final things I want to tell y'all. You have to keep up your looks. I'm telling you, it does not cost $1 million. Stop convincing yourself, going back to the beginning, that you can't do something because of people's perception of you, because of where you grew up, because of, you can change. Y'all know, if you watch my videos, y'all know my whole Hannah Montana. You could change your hair, you could change your clothes. Like, that's about to become my theme song, because you can change anything about yourself. And if you want to attract a life where people treat you differently, you want to attract a life where you are walking into the woman that you want to be, do not wait until you become her, because that's what's holding you back. You're waiting to get the confidence. You're waiting to become her. No, she's right there on the other end of the line. She's right there on the other side of the door waiting for you just to open it. But you're like, when is she gonna come? When is she gonna come? When you actually take action, when you actually change, that's when you will attract the life. And then you'll start noticing things coming to you and things start changing for you. And you like, dang, I didn't know that this was possible for me based on where I live. I didn't know this was possible for me based upon, like, you will be so surprised how much confidence you will have once you start building that relationship with yourself. So thank y'all so much for watching my video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you haven't already, don't forget to go into the description to sign up for my newsletter. And if you are a part of the 75-day challenge, tell me below. And if you want to join the 75-day challenge, tell me below, and also sign up for my newsletter so you can get the link for that. Thank y'all so much, and have a great one.